Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. Sorry that the review for the Wild Blue Yonder is a tiny bit late. I've been on a family fun weekend adventure, spending time with them. Absolutely loved it, thanks for asking. And this has been the soonest opportunity I've had to actually sit down and record this. So yeah, let's talk about Wild Blue Yonder. So this adventure starts off with the Doctor and Donna having a brief moment with Sir Isaac Newton, played by Nathaniel Curtis, who many people might recognise as Ash in the drama miniseries, also written by Russell T Davies, It's a Sin. As much as this was a fun surprise appearance by Nathaniel, straight away I knew that people on X and probably any other trolls out there on social media will be talking about that's not Isaac Newton and race and oh, come on, it's not that bad. It really isn't. I think that has been blown way out of proportion. This was just a fun little moment just to get you settled into this episode, and the sort of gag of it all was the Doctor crashing in and basically giving Isaac Newton the idea of gravity, or as he misheard it, as mavity. And yeah, it was just a fun throwaway bit of science fiction being the optimum word there. And yeah, it does not offend me whatsoever. I don't know what the big uproar on that one. Nathaniel was great. It was a nice to make him see see an appearance in him in Doctor Who. If anything from this, I hope that they carry on with this with Mavity, because really they have changed a piece of history, and that should carry on, or at least be referenced maybe in the giggle that they've actually rectified that mistake. It kind of reminded me a bit of BoJack Horseman with Hollywood, and the D got removed and it was called Hollywoo, and that's what I see now. And the other weird uproar as well from this episode was the scene between the Doctor and Donna talking about how hot Isaac Newton was, and the Doctor replying, "Yes, he was. Oh, am I that kind of person now?" And a lot of people have jumped on it and said that the Doctor's gay. He's come out as gay. Hurrah! Yeah, fine. If that's how you interpret it, that's great. I personally don't see it as the Doctor coming out as gay. I feel that, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for inclusivity through race, disabilities, sexuality. Absolutely. Doctor Who is for everyone. And I'm glad these little moments are actually taking place in the show, because it should be addressed, and they should make everyone feel welcome to watch this show. Personally, I don't see the Doctor as gay. I think, if anything, the Doctor is beyond all sexuality as we know it. But it's definitely, a thumbs up for me that this is kind of like inclusivity. And again, it's a nice little throwaway joke. It was always, Donna replying, it was always there on the surface. But let's go into the episode proper. As the Doctor and Donna, they've been whisked off into the edge of the universe by the TARDIS. The TARDIS got scared and ran away. And now the Doctor and Donna are on this spaceship, this huge spaceship, and they are, along with this rusty looking robot, the only occupants on this ship. Or are they? Of course they're not, because after a bit of a slow burn, we do get to see some more characters, and it is doppelgangers of the Doctor and Donna. Very freaky doppelgangers. I love this. This was a really surprise moment with the "my arms are too long," and then I can't remember, was it the Doctor's hand? Oh no, it was Donna's hand, wasn't it? That was giant like that, and the Doctor having the arms being slumped across. Those visual effects were amazing, by the way. They were just fantastic, and yeah, there were some really scary moments here. As I mentioned in my sort of initial reactions video that I did on the channel last week after watching this episode. Yeah, it was very trippy, and I'm sure quite a lot of young Whovians had some nightmares on that one. Mrs. Timey Wimey Review was one of them. She watched it for the first time and gone, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I hope I don't get nightmares for this." Yeah, some great scary stuff here. And yeah, it was a right balance of sort of horror for sort of a light tea time entertainment Saturday night show. I find it quite amusing that probably past Doctor Who producers or writers, directors, or anything to do with visual effects must be going, yes, they've achieved the lifelong dream of 60 years, a long corridor. And yeah, I mean, obviously the effects has gone up in terms of standards for Doctor Who episodes, and it is always a mixture of, you've got to have the quality of the writing as well. But yeah, you can't deny that the green screen is, yeah, or the technology that's being used in Doctor Who is definitely something that I wouldn't have imagined of 40, 50 years ago, let alone now, you know, with the budgets that they've got. I watched Doctor Who Unleashed recently as well, where they was talking about Wild Blue Yonder, and obviously how they did some of the how they got the prosthetic effects for David and Donna's hands and stuff like that, and using those cameras to take like a 3D sort of print photo shoot of David and Catherine. So having that technology, and obviously the bigger green screen as well, and how they could just digitally have that effect of the spaceship on there straight away. Yeah, it's really impressive stuff. Now that doesn't say that yeah, it was absolutely perfect. No, it wasn't. When I first watched this on Saturday night, I was watching it at my mum's house, and she's got a super whoop-de-doo high definition TV, and I, for me, it weirds me out a bit. I genuinely think that the technology of the Ultra HD and what's being produced on screen for television is not quite matched. And that's the same with the movies. When I went and watched Avatar, The Way of the Water, I felt exactly the same. The effects there obviously was brilliant, but when I watched it in IMAX, I thought it just looked a bit too sharp and a bit too like a gameplay for a PS5 game or an Xbox game. It just felt a bit, took me out of the moment a little bit here and there. But when I watched it in a different sort of version of the like HD for Avatar, it looked better for me. I think I need a bit of a filter. I think I need a bit of cataracts or something. I don't know. And I felt this again when I rewatched Wild Blue Yonder earlier this week. It looked better for me in HD. I think some of the shots with the green screen was a little bit too ambitious. It kind of took me a little bit out of it for some parts of it. But is that also part of the charm of Doctor Who and watching classic Doctor Who, where the effects, yeah, were not the greatest, but the story as a whole kind of compensated for that, if you will. What I forgot to mention in my last review for the Star Beast is obviously Murray Gold's score. Yeah, it was great there. Fantastic this week as well. Really love the score for Wild Blue Yonder. Really nailed the atmospheric, creepy tones that they were going for this story. And yeah, it does feel different to his previous tenure in Doctor Who. Obviously, you got the familiarities with the Doctor Who theme and some of the bombastic sort of operatic choirs that he uses, and some of the themes that we heard again in the Star Beast. But here, I just felt it was totally different, totally right for Doctor Who as well, and definitely for particularly this episode. So yeah, I'm glad Murray Gold is back. And you can see why Russell T Davies actually brought him back, and yeah, the actual material that he has produced so far has been brilliant. It didn't feel repetitive for me. It does sound fresh. As for the story, though, yeah, I was absolutely hooked. Great combination of writing, directing, music, and performances, particularly obviously David Tennant and Catherine Tate. They absolutely knocked it out of the park on this one, having to be, well, a two-hander episode really for the majority of the running time. And yeah, to be like a sort of evil Doctor or an evil Donna as well, that must have been fun to play with. Again, Doctor Who Unleashed mentioned that they were filming this on the hottest day of the year in 2022 in July in Wales. So that can't have been easy. I hope there was a lot of air conditioning going on in Bad Wolf Studios that day. But yeah, the performances, you couldn't fault them at all. The quiet moments with the both of them. I love the I love the part where the Doctor pretend that he was poisoned, and then was joking all along. Very much reminded me of Tom Baker with the key to time sequence. That you know, I'm wondering if Russell T Davies also felt the or thought the same way when he put that in the script. One of the highlight moments from these performances has got to be when they were talking about the flux. Yeah, it's mentioned. It's not going to be forgotten about. It's not retconned or anything like that. It was, it was dealt with. And yeah, definitely the Doctor breaking down is something that I kind of predicted for this one. A bit of a character assassination for the Doctor, obviously minus all the cameo appearances. But hey ho, and I think that's probably what might have disappointed some Whovians for this episode: the lack of cameos for previous companions and stuff, which was kind of being a little bit sort of theorized before this episode aired. There was a lot of secrecy surrounding this episode, and I, for one, was getting into the hype and really sort of going into the overhype side of that. So, apologies if I've disappointed any of my fellow Whovians with my theories as well. Um, I think Russell T Davies kind of apologized for that as well. He sort of tweeted that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have hidden too much about it because of all the sort of fans overhyping this episode, but at the same time I wanted to keep the surprise element of this story. And yeah, I understand where he was coming from, just might not have been perfectly well executed, but hey, it's, I'm not gutted about it. I'm really not. Because we had that really with the power of the Doctor. We had that celebration of Doctor Who to coincide with the BBC's 100th anniversary. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there. Yeah, I was going back to the performance. So yeah, the flux part, I'm glad that was addressed a little bit here in this episode. And yeah, definitely David Tennant just going mad and kicking and stuff like that. Yeah, it needs a bit of that sort of stop and, thinking a sort of different way to the Doctor's psyche, dealing with all these traumatic events. It's going to catch up on them at some point, and we got a little glimpse of that here. So I hope that's something that they carry on forward with Shooter Gatwa's run as the Doctor next season. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what did you think of that? I also liked the little scene about the TARDIS. So obviously the TARDIS disappeared from the spaceship. It's gone to find a safe haven somewhere, and the Doctor was talked about it's probably going to land on a planet where like this tribe are going to worship it, and then they'll build a city around it, and then the city will fall and start, and the TARDIS is still there. It's kind of like one of those spin-off um or even Big Finish could do this, really, of like the TARDIS adventure, where it just gets to witness what this society does with this strange blue box that appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared 100 years later or so. I think that was just a fascinating concept to be introduced in this episode. I'm not gonna lie, I was almost had when Donna got towards the end of the episode. Obviously, they worked out how what was happening with the ship, and the ship was about to explode, and the Doctor got to the TARDIS, and there was the two Donnas standing side by side. Which one does he let in? Which one does he ditch? Grab Donna, grab the wrong Donna, and we had our Donna nearly going to be engulfed in flames. So yeah, I was nearly got by that, but obviously they couldn't have done that, really. It was particularly with the giggle coming on next Saturday. But yeah, it was a fun moment. Obviously everything all got worked out well in the end. What I really would have liked, though, for this episode is to have that mental debrief. They needed that. because I felt in this episode, and again, let me know in the comments below how you interpret those particular scenes. I felt that the Doctor got it wrong when he took off, realised that it's the wrong Donna, and then came back and dumped her out. But I felt that that really should have been addressed a bit more. There really should have been that sort of bit of a breakdown in friendship, but sort of repaired it very quickly. You know, sort of like, oh my God, was that you? Did you know you left me? You know, a bit of a, maybe the Doctor apologizing for leaving her. You know, that I felt like it just needed that sort of mental. The only way I can describe it is mental debrief. It needed just something, just that extra emotional weight to the traumatic experiences, or the experiences they just had on the ship with those evil doppelgangers. It just, yeah, would have been so good. And I was also thinking when I rewatched this, how great this would have been if Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant had a go at this, if it was the Sixth Doctor and Perry story, particularly when they first sort of started in their friendship. They were bickering, they were arguing the TARDIS. Then they had this moment, and obviously it's all about sort of trusting each other. And if their friendship is not quite there yet, you know, that would have added an extra layer of danger to their lives, and how they're going to have to trust each other to get out of this situation. And that could have blossomed into their full-on friendship that you would have saw in their second season, in the Trial of the Time Lord season. I really would have loved if that was given to Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, Sixth Doctor and Perry. But I was certainly hit by the emotional strings in my heart when Bernard Cribbins made an appearance right at the end of this episode. I am so glad that they managed to incorporate the scenes that were filmed as part of this. And there was everything in that performance from Bernard in that brief 2 minutes, if that. There was joy, there was that twinkle in his eye, there was that sense of impending danger, and only the Doctor can fix it. And it's the Doctor that he knows and loves, and Donna's back, and it's the Donna that he genuinely knows and loves, with all the memories back of being with the Doctor. Honestly, it was a great performance by Bernard. It was so sad that that's the only scene they were managed to film until he sadly passed away. Russell T Davies mentioned that in a tweet, that there was some of the scenes that we're going to incorporate with him, and they're going to address some of those in the giggle next week. But yeah, it's sad that that was the only the only scene that they managed to film with Bernard until he was taken ill. But I'm glad we got that as well. To me, that felt like an extra final goodbye to the, not only Bernard, but to the character of Wilf. It definitely came full circle. So I'm glad that we managed to have that joy, sadness, and wonderment one more time for Sir Bernard Cribbins. I'm going to give Wild Blue Yonder a TARDIS rating of 8 out of 10. Yes, I would love to have had a bit more emotional weight between the Doctor and Donna after the whole events of this episode took place. And yes, we can also negate on whether the CGI was good or bad. Again, let me know in the comments. But I can't take away that this was a gripping story. As I mentioned, Mrs. Timey Wimey review, she watched it. Having sort of drifted out of Doctor Who, I felt like really this kind of brought her back into Doctor Who. She absolutely loved it. She said it was probably one of the best episodes she has seen in many years. And yeah, I was absolutely gripped. It was a solid story, really, minus my little nitpicks there. It felt like Red Dwarf, but without the laughs, not in a bad way, but just kind of like it was something, that a story that Doug and Grant would certainly have wrote for Red Dwarf. Just more sort of elements of scares in there, and Event Horizon also reminded me of Event Horizon as well. Yeah, it was great. The main thing is it was a solid performance by Catherine Tate and David Tennant. they knocked it out of the park, as I said. And I think once everyone kind of got over the hype or slight disappointments of any cameo appearances that should have been happening in from previous Doctors or companions, I think this will be an out-and-out classic. I think it will definitely be up there amongst the sort of scary Doctor Who episodes, such as Blink. Midnight is starting to get more of a popular rise, and definitely this will be slotted in there as well, and like Turn Left as well. Yeah, it was a solid episode. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to Wild Blue Yonder. Did you enjoy this more than the Star Beast? Do you find this one of the scariest episodes of Doctor Who? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. Next time on Timey Wimey Review will be my spoiler review for The Giggle, the final episode of the Doctor Who 60th anniversaries, with a regeneration or two. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for being patient as well. And waiting for this review of Wild Blue Yonder. Sadly, I will not be watching The Giggle live. I am at a work's Christmas do, so I won't be doing an initial reaction video. Unfortunately, I will be keeping all my data off my mobile so I don't get any spoilers. I'm probably ending up watching The Giggle at about 3 in the morning after a nice few alcoholic beverages. Probably watch it again on Sunday morning, but I will be posting up my review as quickly as possible. If you like what you've seen and hear, please hit the subscribe button. Please like and share this video. Hit the cloister bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on Facebook and X. And do check out my other fantastic Doctor Who related content on the Timey Wimey Review TikTok page and right here on the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel. And as the good doctor once said, my arms are too long.